Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I will present about how to read the narrative text. In this video, you will be able to create a simple outline of a narrative text, and you will be able to write a narrative story using appropriate vocabulary and the structure of narrative text. And you will be able to revise and improve your writing based on the correct grammar and the feedback. And the last, you will be able to present your story in the front of the class using suitable media. So let's memorize. What is a narrative text? Hmm? Yes, a narrative text is text that tell a story. The purpose is to entertain the reader, give a moral message. And the next is generic structure of narrative text. This narrative text has four main parts: for the orientation, complication, resolution, and reorientation. So let's learn about how to write a narrative text. For the first is brainstorming. Decide what type of story you want to write. For the example, a fairy tale, legenda, or fable. And the next is use a story map to create an outline. For the example, is a story map to make an outline. Let's make outline together. This is our example for the make outline. For the first, you must decide about the topic. So I will choose a fable. I choose the topic is the lion and the mouse. And the next part is orientation. In the orientation part, we read about the beginning of the story. It tells who are the main characters and where does the story take place. Like story is a, a mighty lion and a tiny mouse live in a vast jungle. The lion is known as the king of animals, feared and respected by everyone. The mouse is small and quiet, living quietly among the tree roots. And the next part is complication. In this complication part, we read about the problem in this story. It tells about what challenge or conflict should the character encounter. Uh, like one day, the lion gets caught in the hunter's sting rope net and cannot break free no matter how hard the rules and the strangers. Meanwhile, the tiny mouse hurts his carrots, echoing through the jungle and rushes over. Something like that. And the next part is resolution. In this resolution part, we read about the solution to the problem. It tells about how do the character overcome or deal with the conflict, deal the conflict. Like the most remember The most remember the lion. The most remember the lion's earlier act of kindness, sparing his life when he could have eaten him without hesitation. The moose now struck the brooks with his sharp teeth and set the crippled lion free. And the next part is the last part is reorientation. Reorientation part. We read about the ending of the story. It tells about what lesson or message can we take away from this story. No, for the example is no. Act of kindness is ever too small to matter. Even the mightiest creatures may one day need the help of the smallest ones. When we show kindness to others, it will always find it was paid to us. So this all simple when you want to make outline. Okay, next for the second step, how to read a narrative text is revise. Is revise. Read your story better. Uh, After you read outline, you make a story better. For the example, the pig, the lion, and the mouse. The part orientation, the opening of the story, it introduces the character, the setting, and the background situation so the reader understand the word before the conflict begins. Like who are the characters, where and when does it take place, and what is the situation at the start. For example, deep in vast and excellent jungle, to live a great lion, the king of all beasts, known for his strength and power. Every creature feared him, and his roar alone could shake the leaf from the streets. One lazy afternoon, the lion was napping in a warm patch of sunlight when a tiny mouse, scurrying through the tall grass, accidentally ran straight across his enormous nose. This part when this part is orientation. Uh, Usually this part orientation itu letaknya biasanya di uh, awal awal cerita atau introduce story. And the next part is and the next part is complication. The part where a problem, conflict, or challenge arises that disrupt the normal situation is the turning point that creates tension and drives in the story forward. For example, the lion walked with a start and trapped the mouse under his paw. The mouse begged for mercy, promising to repay the lion's kindness one day. Moose, the lion, the mouse go free. Days later, a far more serious problem struck. The lion walked straight into a hunter's rope, net that dropped from the trees and struggled tightly around him. He twisted, pulled, and roared, but the ropes only grew tighter. He was completely stuck. This part, namely complication. And the next part is resolution, the part where the complication is addressed and solved. The character take action to overcome the problem and the conflict begins to come to an end. For the example, for through the jungle, the tiny mouse heard the lion desperate roar. Remembering the kindness shown to him, the mouse burst toward the soul without hesitation. When he arrived, the calmly told the lion not to worry. Using his small but sharp teeth, the mouse now took the ropes one by one, strand by strand, until the well fell away and the lion stepped free. In this part, the namely is a solution. And the next is reorientation. The last part is the and the next part is resolution. The part where the complication is addressed and solved. The character take action to overcome the problem and the conflict begins to come to end. For the example, for far through the jungle, the tiny mouse heard the lion despite roar, remembering the kindness shown to him. The mouse rushed toward the soul without hesitation. When he arrived, he calmly told the lion not to worry, using his small but sharp teeth. The mouse cut through the ropes one by one, stand by strand, until the next well away and the lion stepped free. And the next part is reorientation. The story returns to a stable situation, but things have changed. Characteristic reflect on the event, and a new balance or relationship is established as the result. First example is the lion looked at the mouse with wonder and deep gratitude. He admitted that the had once loved, and the idea of the mouse ever helping him and that he had been wrong. From the day From the day forward, the lion and the mouse become the most unlikely yet most loyal friends in all the jungle. A bone built and owned, a bone built on the kindness and the trust. And next part is coda, but the part coda is optional. The closing section of the narrative it delivers the moral lesson or final message of the story. The lasting thought the author wants the reader to take away, like what is the moral of the story, what the lesson can reader learn. For the example, no act of kindness, however small, is forever truly works. Even the mightiest of the creatures might one day need the help of the smallest. Never judge someone's worth by their size, for a little mouse can save a great lion. And the last part step is editing. Editing light. fix mistake in your writing, like check grammar. You in when you want to make a narrative text, you must use a past tense, adjective, and adverb, and check spelling, punctuation, and the capitalization. So this is example the final result, a narrative text.